What's up, everybody? Bill with Honest Open Permaculture Hop Farm. We're back with the worm farm, and I think we're ready to harvest some castings. Now, if you haven't seen how I've been managing this worm bin or how I started this worm bin, I'm gonna leave a playlist down in the description, and you can start from the beginning, how I built it, where I got my worms from, everything, all the way up to now it's time to harvest this black gold, as we call it. So I'll be a little honest, I did cheat last night. I came down here and looked at it, moved some stuff around, and it's looking like we're not running into the same problems we had last time. If you remember last time, if you saw my last video on this, it was just too wet. All the material was, just clumping together. I didn't see how I was gonna be able to separate the worms from the worm castings from some of the food, which was leaves and stuff like that that's still in there for them. So I let it sit, and honestly, I didn't look at it for a month and a half, and I went last night, right before the sun was coming down, broke into it and looked at it, and it's looking pretty good. I think we're ready to just go ahead and start sifting the worm castings from the material and the worms. Let me show you how I'm gonna do it. Look down here. So what we got going on here is a little screening. We have two sizes of screens. Up here, we have a half-inch size, and then we flip it over. On the bottom, there is a 1/4-inch size. Take scoops out of the worm farm, dump it onto the screen mesh, shake it back and forth like this. What that's going to do is going to leave the large particles on top. The smaller particles are going to fall through, go to that mesh, and then they're going to sift themselves out also. Go down to the bottom. The worm castings, which will be some of the smallest stuff, will go into the wheelbarrow. This is sitting on a wheelbarrow. Right here beside the wheelbarrow, I've got a container, which I'll dump all the big stuff and the worms into this container here. So that's my plan on sifting, on separating the worm castings from everything else. Once the worms castings is separated and we've got, the worms and larger particles in that bucket, we will add it back to the worm farm. Let's break this open. So if you remember last time, month and a half ago, I moved most of their food over to this one side. See where this cardboard is? Underneath it is where their leaves and everything they're eating is. Let's take this off. So over here it's really loose, really leafy. And this is what they can come up and eat. On this side, let me show you. Let me bring some to you. We'll show you what we're looking at. I hope we can focus there. But it's not clumping together really hard. It's just falling out of my hands. Hopefully, most of the worms are on the feeding side. There's not a whole lot over here. And if the ones that are, it's okay. You know what? Even if there's some that get in the worm castings, it's okay. We're not selling this. We're putting this out in the garden. So if we can take some of the worms out of here, I'm sure there's thousands of them, and end up just putting a couple hundred out in the garden, they're gonna multiply and they're gonna do a good job in the garden as well. So it's not gonna be like a dire situation that we're stealing all our worms from our worm farm to put out in the field, in our garden beds. No, we're actually just kind of spreading the love everywhere. So let's get started. Let's see how this is gonna work. All right, let's take some out of here. Put it on here. So. Alright, so we shook it for a couple of minutes. The clumpy stuff, we'll throw it back in this bucket right here, this right here. And let's move this aside. See what we got for castings. Let's go through the castings and see if there's any worms being dropped in here. I mean, a couple really small ones. Not a whole lot of them. And the ones I see, I will put back in this bucket to go ahead and put back in the worm farm. I'm not trying to populate these red wigglers out of my garden. So a little bit of hand sifting. But man, this is beautiful. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to take it outside in the sun and show you guys. A good sign, you like to just a little pressure. I'm not pressing hard. and just becomes nice. This is ideal potting mix, ideal stuff to boost your garden up with. Now we can take this right here and we'll just, hold on, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm about to do here. Let me show you. The bucket is down there. So we're gonna take this, dump all the leaves, worms, stuff down in that bucket. Throw this back over and get to sifting again. Let's look in here. Worms, leaves, leaf sticks, the center of the leaves. All right, let's keep rolling, guys. This is gonna take a little while. Got me a little chair in here if you can't tell. Look, you can sit right here and just sift away. Also, another tip while you're doing this, just try to take off the top. Don't be digging down deep. Take out the first couple inches so the worms that are in there will see the light again and dive down deeper. So this is a good sign. I don't know if you guys can tell. See those little round balls on my fingertip? Those are cocoons. And there can be up to 100 or 200 little worms inside those little cocoons. So, that's good. We know that they're still reproducing. Okay guys, let me show you where I'm at. I've got a good amount of it emptied out. We got a good amount in the wheelbarrow and a good amount in the blue bucket down here, our extra bucket with the worms and the big pieces. Let me show you what I just did. I just cleared out this whole end down here and I pushed everything over here because there is so many worms in this, guys. This was the bottom couple inches and a lot of the worms, they kept diving to the bottom as I would scrape the top couple inches off. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna put them on top of the food over here. And I'm gonna clear out this whole end down here and I'm gonna build up this end over here. And my plan is fill up this end over here with some more bedding for them. Feed them on this area, let them go through it all, and then we'll harvest this half. The next couple of months we'll still be feeding over here. Feed over here, feed over here, try to get them to go through all this material and then switch. We'll feed over here, feed over here, feed over here to try to get them to migrate over, and then we can harvest this side over here. So let's get these over. There is tons of worms in here. On the bottom of this, guys, I couldn't believe how many there. Every scoop I'm getting a couple hundred at least. They're everywhere. This was our screen. It's still doing well. Put over the hole. Need to weight it down. All right. The sun is starting to go down, so we're losing light down here, guys. I'm gonna have to wrap this up here in a minute. So now, that's what it's looking like on that side. So let's add some material to that side, to the other side. First, we're gonna start out with a little horse manure. This is horse manure mixed with leaves. Spread that out. Now we're gonna add that bucket with all these worms in it and all the big pieces that we took out that still need to be processed. Spread that out. To really entice these guys to come on this side, we need to cover this. So let's cover it. We're not going to cover the other side that we just made over here. This is so we don't get rodents and cats. We have cats also to help control the rodents. Cats could get in here and use this as a litter box quite easily. And I'm gonna take you guys outside, wheel the wheelbarrow outside, so we can check out what we got today. Okay, so we still got a little more daylight. Let me show you what this stuff looks like. Man, it's looking good. Oh, yeah, I'm also gonna put it, I have this old feed sack that will work perfectly. I could go ahead and put all those castings in here and use it as I need it. Let's give you a close look up on this. This stuff is beautiful. Black gold. All right, so we're gonna take that shovel right there, scoop it out, put it in that bag. There is a little bit of worms in here, not a whole lot. There is a little bit of food in here still too for them, so I'm not too worried about it. No worm casting left behind. All right, let's guesstimate here. We've got about 25 pounds worth of worm castings from about an hour and a half's worth of work. Not too bad at all. So now we're gonna keep this in a damp, not too hot, not too cold place, pretty much right beside worm bin is. I'm just gonna keep it right there beside that, so because we know they like those environment, they're used to that environment. So there's multiple things you can do with your worm castings also. You can make what's called a worm tea, which I'm sure we'll make some worm tea out of that. We'll show you how it's done. And you can add it straight to your garden beds. One of the best ways to use it is for your seed starts also, because your seed starts need all those nutrients to get a nice head start in life. And those worm castings has everything it needs plus more. You can use it in your garden beds, out in the field. You could use it under your fruit plants. You could use it under your flowering plants. You can use it in your seed starts. It is a versatile compost, vermicompost, that you can use pretty much anywhere. You know it's good when your hands come out looking like this. All right, y'all, so that's all I got. Like I said, if you're interested in watching how I started that worm bin, click on this video right here that's popping in. It'll take you to the beginning. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Later.